Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Jaya Gopi Jaya Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापरकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मनोहावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण दो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, I'd like to seek the blessings of all the devotees. So trying to serve whatever we've heard from our superiors on the instruction of them. So today we are celebrating a very auspicious occasion. Today is Advaitha Acharya's appearance day. So we will be discussing a few things on in that regard. Just before that, I was just recollecting a story. Once there were a few people who were sleeping below a tree, and a person with a fruit basket, he came and he woke them up. Hari bol, wake up. And I said, I bought fruits for you. I said, really? Fruits for us? I said, yeah. How much do I have to pay? Nothing, just take the fruit, that's all. Really? Very ripe and amazing fruits. And when he started, the people who were sleeping, they started taking the fruits. Now they asked for second serving, quite common in devotee circle, isn't it? We all ask for second serving. So when they asked for second serving, then he gave them second serving also. Now when they wanted the third serving, then he said, "See, I have given a second serving also. Third serving also I will give you. I have capacity to give you, but you have to come with me to the place where these fruits are grown. I will take you there. But what is your homework? You have to faithfully follow me." They said, sure. And again, you have to pay something there? Nothing. Just come with me. That is the price. Really amazing. So then they followed this particular person who was a fruit vendor, basically, who was giving fruits. Now, as they were following, few people, because of the heat of sunlight, they were thinking, it's too much for us to walk. I don't know how far it is. Google Maps also is not there to show. It is, I don't know how far it is, so better we drop it off. So then few people dropped off. Some set of people, as they were going ahead, they saw oasis, and they asked the fruit vendor, "Hey, is this the place?" He said, "No, no, no. Nariyal pani. Don't settle with nariyal pani. I have something more, better fruits for you. Don't settle with the and it's not something real. It's an oasis. Don't go there." He had warned, but then they didn't listen to him, and then they said that no, no, we are going there. So some people they went there. The third set of people who were following the fruit vendor, they got a cooling breeze. Like how when you enter AC room, na, how you feel. Like that, they got a cooling breeze. They asked the fruit vendor, "Is this the place what you're talking about?" He said, "No, no, no. I told you, one thing I told you. What is that? Just follow me. I will take you to destination. When it comes, I'll tell you." Then some people found the breeze so nice that they stayed there only. Some people didn't come. Now the last set of people who came along with the fruit vendor, they found themselves in front of a huge door. And then they asked, "You have the key?" He said, "Yes." He got the key out of his and he opened. And when he opened, sure enough, there were so many fruits in unlimited quantity, which they could just go and relish. And he said, "Go, enter. You have paid the price of faithfully following me and following my instructions." So then they were allowed in that, and they henceforth lived happy ever after with the fruits. So now, this is a very nice story which tells us that in this story, any of you would like to guess who is the fruit person who is selling the fruits or giving the fruits? He is actually the guru. The guru in our life comes, and he is like the person who is giving the fruits. What are the fruits? The different activities of devotion service. Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Arshanam Mandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atmanivedanam. So he gives the different limbs of bhakti. They are like different fruits. Like say someone likes Kirtan, someone like most of us like Prasad, isn't it? Some of them like class, some of them like reading Prabhupada books, some of them like duty dressing, some of them like backup. So each of them are different limbs of devotion service given by the spiritual master. We also sing that in the morning in the Guru Ashtakam, isn't it? So he gives the limbs. Now the first set of people, any of you would like to guess, who are the first set of people who didn't follow the spiritual master, they found the heat too much and then they said it's too much. They are the third class people who don't follow the instruction of the devotees or spiritual master. They say it's too much to follow. 16 rounds is too much. Like that. Now the next set of people who actually landed up where in the oasis. So that is like people going to heavenly planets. It is the illusion of happiness, but it's not actually happiness. The third set of people who found a cooling breeze. They are like the people who settled at the Brahmajyoti. So then there is neither suffering nor happiness. So there's like in between neutral, isn't it? And the people who follow the spiritual master faithfully till the end, they are like the devotees of the Lord who are very sincere in following the instruction of the spiritual master. And the spiritual master, sure enough, rewards them, with Golok Vrindavan, the destination over there. So with this understanding, it's always good for us if we hop in our spiritual life from one limb of devotional service to another limb. I was just remembering this Nalakuvar and Manigrave. It's a very big pastime what we discuss during the Damodar Leela as well. But in this pastime towards the end, Lord Krishna asked Nalakuvar and Manigrave, "What do you want from me? Ask benediction. You ask. Now you are like I've freed you from the body of a tree. Ask any benediction." And they say that it's a very beautiful shloka in the 10th canto. It says, Vani gunanu khatane shavanau kathayam hastau cha karma summanastava padayorna smrityam shirastava nivasa jagat praname dhrishyu satam darshanestu bhavattanunam. They say that look at the amazing quality of their desires. Previously, they were sporting where? In the Mandakini Ganges over there, now after they got purified by the association of Vrajavasis, by the touch of the Lord through the rope, we discussed this last time, so, rope and the mortar. So now they asked Krishna, "We have only couple of desires." He said, "Go ahead. Through our tongue, we desire that we, only constantly chant your auspicious names or glories." That is why they were also sent back to heavenly planets. I always had this question when Krishna liberated these Nalakur and Madikriv, why didn't he send them back to Godhead? They went back to heavenly planets. So I was hearing that they went back there so that they can continue preaching. Whatever I have heard. So this is a desire also that they chant the Lord's holy name unlimitedly, or the glories. And from their ears, they desired that they constantly hear about the glories of the Lord. And from their hands, they desired that they always engage in service of the Lord. And from their mind and heart, they desired that they always be absorbed in thinking of the Lord. And from their head, they desired that wherever we go, in all the directions, we bow down to you only. Our head will not bow down to anyone else apart from devotees and the Lord. That way. And and their eyes, they desire to see the beautiful darshan of the Lord and darshan of the Vaishnava associates, because they have got purified by whose association? The Vrajavasis association. And so basically towards the end, they are asking pure devotional service, if you see. So it's very nice to see. So if we want to know how much we are advancing in our spiritual life, we should ask one question to ourselves. Just sincerely, take a dip in your heart and then ask this question that, what do we desire from the Lord when we are doing devotional service? If it is good clothes, if it is good food, or if it is money, or if it's a big home, or if it is a lot of respect, or if it is many gifts, or many friends, or placement, or a lot of following, then okay, the Lord. It's not wrong to do so. Anyone who is in connection with the Lord, he's actually purified. Akama sarvakama va mokshikama udariti. Yes, that's okay. Anyone with whatever desires can approach the Lord. But when we approach the Lord with a pure desire, even and how do our desires get purified? I was recently reading this Science of Self-Realization, a book of by Sri Prabhupada. There Prabhupada writes, anyone who constantly chants for 1 week, he will see a change in or transformation in his desires. That is how this chanting of the Lord is so powerful. So this is the power of chanting of the holy names. You see. So yeah. So then, as our purification increases, our desire to sing the glories of the Lord, hear the glories, chant His holy names, serve the Vaishnavas, think about Krishna, all this increases. So this is a sign of our advancement. What we see, even we can see a classic example of this from Dhruva Maharaj section also. A beautiful prayer by Dhruva Maharaj. He says, योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत् अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणा श्रवणात्वदादिन् प्राणां नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. Dhruva Maharaj had not gone to any school, no Sanskrit grammar at all. But when the Lord touched the conch on his head, this was the first sloka what he spoke. And what an amazing sloka. He says that, my Lord, I only, like you have enlivened my sleeping senses. My senses were sleeping, my hands, legs, all my life force were sleeping. You have enlivened me. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. If you have heard classes of his own as Bhakti Vigyan Goswami Maharaj, he had come once, they had called us for a camp. There in his prayers as a part of Mangalacharan itself, he recites this particular prayer also, which is recited by Dhruva Maharaj. So this is with this understanding, as we advance, you'll see that even in, you will find that something in which is not in connection with the Lord, you feel that it's not actually apt for me to listen. Even Bhagavatam says that, Shodapyadini Rajendra Gnam Santi Sahasrata Apasyatam Atvatattam Griheshu Grihamedinam. He says that, those who are desiring to go back to Godhead, their only desire is what? They want to hear more and more the glories of the Lord. And today is one such amazing occasion of the appearance of Advaitha Acharya. So I just thought generally we think, Advaitha Acharya, someone like, okay, someone who has a beard and then he just is in the altar. A lot of glories of Srila Advaita Acharya is not known in general. That's why having these kind of discussions is absolutely essential. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, he mentions Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. This is a very amazing sloka. Those of you who have not beheaded this sloka, worth beheading this on today, on this day, because it is appearance of Srila Advaita Acharya. So this sloka says that Krishna appeared as five personalities. Krishna is non-different. He manifested himself into five personalities. Who are they? Bhakta Rupa. Who is that? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Gausundar. Panchatattvatmakam Bhakta Rupa Bhakta Swarupakam. Who is Swarupa? He is actually the first expansion of Krishna. Who is that? Balaram. And then that Balaram is basically Nityananda Prabhu. Panchatattmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupam Bhaktavatar. Who is Bhaktavatar? Shri Jagannath Baladev Swami ki Jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Yeah, so who is Bhaktavatar? He is Advaita Acharya or incarnation of the Lord. And then Bhaktakyam. Bhaktakyam is a devotee himself. Who is that? Srivas or Narada Muni. And towards the end he says, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Bhakta Shakti is who? The energy of Krishna. Who is that? Srimati Radharani, who comes as Gadadhar Pandit. So these are the five personalities who are mentioned in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's pretty interesting in terms of Tattva. A little bit about them, and then we will get into the pastimes. In terms of Tattva, if you see the Pancha Tattva, we also call them Tattva. In that there are three Prabhu Tattvas and there are two Shakti Tattvas. Who are three Prabhu Tattvas? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya. Shakti Tattva is who? Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas. Now, even as you read Chaitanya Charitamrita in Adi Leela, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he adds a cherry on the cake towards this. He says, even amongst the Prabhu Tattvas, there are two Prabhus and there is one Mahaprabhu. So who is that Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the other two Prabhus mentioned here are Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. So like this he says. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is avatari. He's not avatar. He's avatari. What is avatari? He is the root or cause of all the other avatars. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Right? And here he says that Advaita Acharya is incarnation of the Lord. He is Mahavishnu himself in the mood of Sadashiv or Lord Shiva. This is Advaita Acharya. And now I'll try to actually in the Charitamrita, a very long purport comes in the Adi Leela explaining the Tattva of Advaita Acharya. It's worth discussing this to understand what is our connection with Advaita Acharya, because today is his appearance day. When we feel our connection with Advaita Acharya, then we can fervently pray to him, isn't it? I'll give you an example. When the mother gives birth to a child, a mother, like behind the mother, there is another cause, as a remote cause. Who is that? The father, isn't it? Now, it is the father who is the remote cause, and it is the mother who does two things for the child. What are two things? She gives space in her body for the child, number one. Number two, she nourishes the child. After giving space. These are the two things the mother does for the child. You see. So what are the two things? She gives space to the child and she nourishes the child. Now these and what does the father do? Father is the remote cause for this. So similarly, Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan explains in his commentary to this that maternal nature is Prakriti, and who is the remote cause? Vishnu. You say Vishnu is the remote cause, or Sri Hari basically towards the end. Now he glances and he impregnates, Prakriti. But the two things again in this Prakriti, when she's like compared to a mother in this analogy. She nourishes, she gives body to us in the sense of the Panchamahabhut, right? And now, speaking of Prakriti and Purusha, why are we? How is this connected to Advaita Acharya being his appearance today? Well, it's very much related. In the Taittiriya Upanishad and all, if you see many Upanishads, when the sages ask question, how does the creation happen? Very short answers are given in general. Mahavishnu glands. That's all. Done. A question, answer, close. No details. Too many details mentioned. Bhagavatam mentions a lot of details. In this regard. But in general, the Upanishads close that Mahavishnu glanced and this happened. But there is a inner understanding to this. It is not just Mahavishnu glanced and the Prakriti. The jivas were transported. There is a person who is involved in between. You want to know who is that? In the Vedic times, if you see, as per the Vedic tradition, you cannot glance on another man's wife. Who is Prakriti? Durga Devi. Whose wife is she? Shiva. So then that's when Mahavishnu actually explained Lord Shiva, and Shiva glanced at Prakriti in this regard. So that is when Shiva is involved here in between. You see, so that is why someone who says that like it's a very important thing. So Vishnu can't glance at Prakriti directly. It is he does it through the expansion of Lord Shiva. So anybody who says that Lord Shiva is different from Vishnu, he's an offender. At the same time, anybody who says that Lord Shiva is not different from Vishnu, he also is offender. That is why if you see, it's very deep. We chant the 10 offenses against the holy name, isn't it? In the morning. What is it? First is to blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their life for providing the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the name of the demigods, Lord Shiva or Brahma, to be equal to or independent. You see, the devatas are not independent of the Lord, but you cannot equate them to God also. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say? So that is how it is. So that is how what is our connection with Lord Shiva and Vishnu in this regard. That she expands, Prakriti expands material nature, and what does Vishnu do? He expands Lord Shiva, and Shiva carries the glances, and then he basically. So basically, Shiva and Vishnu are like our father in this regard. So that is why our bodies have actually come from their grace. So that's why we are very, very grateful. Many times, many Shastras they proclaim Lord Shiva to be supreme in this world in terms of father. Is it wrong? Not wrong, because in this episode, what I mentioned, Shiva is involved in between. But when we see from a complete perspective, there is Lord Shiva. See, Durga Devi is Parvati. Lord Shiva is Maheshwar. Behind him is Parameshwar. Who is that? Vishnu. Behind him is Sarveshwar. Who is that? Krishna. So Krishna is the root cause. Eti Chamsa Kalapamsa. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. He is the root of all these incarnations, and others come from him. So this is a little bit on the Tattva side. A little bit, one more analogy I'll give, which will help you appreciate this. Imagine there's an electric, generator or a power generator. It like we have seen big power generators, isn't it? The power of the power generators is carried to the houses or the electric appliances through a copper wire. You would have seen a 440 volt, a skull and two bones. Don't touch. That is a power generator. Now through that the power comes through a copper wire, isn't it? And the copper wire transports the power, in the form of the electricity or electric current to the bulb. So in this analogy, Mahavishnu is compared to the power generator, the source of electricity. Lord Shiva is compared to the copper wire, who carries the jivas. Electric current is whose electric current? By now you should have understood. Whose electric current? The jivas, isn't it? And Prakriti or material nature is basically the bulb, in this regard. So that is it. So how do the bulb lit up? Because of the touch of the copper wire through the current, and that's what the role Lord Shiva plays in this regard as well. One more analogy to help you understand this. Chaitanya Charitamrita gives a very nice analogy in terms of a potter and a clay. You see, there is a clay and there's a potter. So one who makes the pots, his intelligence is involved. There's a clay. There is a wheel which helps the clay turn, isn't it? In this regard, so when without the hands of the copper, sorry, or the of the potter or the intelligence, the clay pot cannot be made. So similarly, we are compared to these clay pots, and the person who makes these clay pots is compared to Lord Shiva in this regard, because he is acting through the material nature. Even Chaitanya Charitamrita also mentions in the Adi Leela, says Mahavishnu Jagatkarta Maya Sajat Yadaha Tasyavatara Evayam Advaitacharya Ishvaraha. He says Advaitacharya is incarnation of Mahavishnu, and his main function is what? That he creates the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. This is what Chaitanya Charitamrita also mentions. And additionally, Chaitanya Charitamrita gives a very nice glorification of Advaitacharya in terms of one more shloka. Advaitam Harina Advaitad Acharyam Bhakti Samsanat Bhaktavataram Ishatam Advaitacharya Ashraye. Adi Leela, first chapter, 14 shloka. It mentions that how he is non-different from Hari. Advaita. He's the supreme Lord, he's not different from him. And he propagates the cult of devotion. That's why he's called a Acharya. Advait Acharya. And yeah, so we understand that he's not some person in the altar. He's the root cause of our existence. And he's like our father, you see. That's why we are very much dependent upon Advaita Acharya. So I told you multiple analogies. What are they? The first one I told you was the mother and the father in terms of remote cause. Second one, electric current and the power generator. And the third one, the clay pot and the potter. So like, with this we can understand that Advaita Acharya is Lord Shiva himself, or like say Vishnu in the mood of Lord Shiva, right? So now I am just reading a particular purport from Adi Leela 8.4. Just listen to this attentively and then we will discuss. A little bit of tattva in the beginning, because it's important. Sri Prabhupada said that Siddhanta Balya Chitta Nakare Alas. We should not be lazy in studying the Siddhanta. When we know the Siddhanta, then when we hear the pastimes of Advaita Acharya, we'll understand, oh, he's not an ordinary personality over here, right? So here he says in the Adi Leela, chapter 8.4, 8 chapter 4 shloka, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, listen to this attentively, it's very interesting. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami teaches us to first offer respect to Panchatattva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Gadadhar Prabhu, and Srivas Prabhu, and other devotees. We must strictly follow the principle of offering our respects to Panchatattva, as summarized in the mantra Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. At the beginning, of every function in preaching, especially before chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We must, Prabhupada says, must chant the Panchatattva mantra and offer respects to them. Yeah, so that's how important it is to offer respects to Sri Panchatattva. So Advaita Acharya is one such personality. He is a very, he was born. He appeared in Navagram. It's a very, it's currently in Sylhet, Bangladesh. He was born to his father, whose name was Kuvera Pandit, and his mother's name was Nabi Devi. What was his father's name? Kuvera Pandit, and what is his mother's name? Nabi Devi. So this was he appeared there in Navagram. So let us try to observe ourselves in hearing about Advaita Acharya. The visa what you need to observe in the pastime is actually faith and attention. If you sleep, then you miss that flight. But if you attentively hear, then, or if you attentively hear what we are discussing from Prabhupada, then that is something very amazing. Now, in this regard, he says that Advaita Acharya, he learned, he was, like, see, he initially was with Haridas Thakur, Advaita Acharya. He always cherished the association of Advaita Acharya. Haridas Thakur. This is the nature of devotee of the Lord. Whenever they get associated with other devotees, they're very happy. They see that how we can discuss Krishna Katha together, how we can chant together, how we can dance together, how we can serve together. So this is the mood of Advaita Acharya, who has come in the mood of Sadashiva. We also know in Bhagavatam, so many glories of Lord Shiva are mentioned, isn't it? He drank poison, for whose sake? for all of our sake, Samudra Manthan Leela, again, it's a very deep pastime, but in that we understand that he drank the poison just to save all of us, isn't it? That's how he's also called Neelakanta. So that way we understand that he is in a very deep compassionate mood. He was crying for Krishna, and he was crying for those who have forgotten Krishna. Not much is mentioned about the childhood pastimes of Advaitha, but from the very beginning, Advaitha was 52 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How many years? 52 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Haridas Thakur was 17 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How many years? 17 years. So that is basically Haridas Thakur and Advaitha. So they were very amazing devotees of the Lord. Now they were discussing, if we have to deliver this, or we have to get these souls chant the holy names of the Lord, it's not possible by us, because they are just absorbed in dry philosophy. Those days, even in Navadip, people would see how they could debate just to prove their uh, Sanskrit scholar, or what kind of scholar they are, or what kind of learned person they are. They would not study the Shastras for the sake of devotion or understanding God. They would study it for the sake of showing off or mundane scholarship. So Haridas Thakur, who is he? Brahma. And then Acharya, who is he? Vishnu and Shiva. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are having a meeting, preaching meeting. How to ensure that the souls are given Krishna consciousness. So they thought that they heard a very beautiful shloka from the Gautamiya Tantra, which says, Tulsi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha. He says, anyone with utmost devotion, if they offer a tulsi leaf to Krishna and a palm full of Ganges water, he is very, very pleased and he appears. So this was actually taken very, very seriously. Many people heard this, but he took it very seriously. You see, Advaitha, it's very interesting to know. We know the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti uparitam asnami prayatatmanaha. So Advaitha offered the first one and last one. What is that? Patram, tulasi leaf. Toyam, what is that? Water. He offered two kinds of water. First kind of water was the Ganges water. Second kind of water was his tears. He was feeling for the suffering of the other living entities. So these two waters he offered to the Lord. It's pretty interesting to know that in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vamandev appeared. We all know the pastime of Vamandev, isn't it? Through the tip of his, it's a very deep pastime, but I'm not getting into details. Just, am I fast? Are you able to understand? Okay. So through the tip of his toenail, he made a hole in the material shell, isn't it? As a result, what happened? The celestial Ganga came in this world, washing the lotus feet of Vamandev. It was Charanamrit. So now Ganga Devi washed the feet of Vamandev. Lord Shiva, he was very greedy. Hey, I want Charanamrit. It's just amazing how, if you know the glory of Charanamrit, then even one drop we will not ensure that it will not fall from the hand, because that is the water which has washed the lotus feet of the Lord, isn't it? So he says, Vishnur Pado Dakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate. Anyone who takes Charanamrit in this world, he will not take another birth. That is the glory of Charanamrit. So now he says no. So what did Lord Shiva do? He thought, I'm not going to settle with one drop of Charanamrit. I want continuous Charanamrit. That's the greed of a devotee. He wants more and more mercy of the Lord. So then he sees that let me hold Ganga on my head, because they know that if Ganga falls, with what speed it falls, it will make a hole in the material world only. So then someone has to hold that. Who is that? Who did the service? Lord Shiva. He took it on his head, and then how many of you have seen that photo where the Ganges falls on? Yeah, we have seen that. You can, if you're not seen, open Bhagavatam. You can 8th canto. You will see that a description of that is given in detail. Over there. So now this Ganges, she was flowing through the lotus feet of Vamandev, as Lord Shiva was holding it on his head. Now Lord Shiva appears as what? Advaita Acharya. He takes Ganga. This is coming from where? To him only, right? In his palms, he offers it to Vishnu. Who is Vishnu? Saligram in this particular case, yeah, which is not even from Vamana. So the cycle is complete. You understand? The water came from the lotus feet of the Lord through Lord Shiva. Now he is offering back to that same Vishnu, through this Saligram Shila. So when the cycle is complete, when Vishnu, gives Ganga to Lord Shiva, and now when Shiva as an Advaita is giving Ganga back to Vishnu as Saligram, as a result of this completion of the cycle, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. This is what the Acharya has described in terms of why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this age. Like we have Chaitanya Charitamrita gives many external reasons. Gaur Purnima is coming soon. That time we'll have a separate discussion on what are the external reasons of appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, internal reasons. But one of the prominent external reasons for appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was that Advaita Acharya fervently called for him. So this is by the grace of Advaita Acharya. We are all sitting here today. We are chanting the holy names of the Lord. We are wearing dhoti kurta tilak. That is by the grace of Advaita Acharya. Had he not called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then how would what was the hope for us, isn't it? So yeah, that's the greatness of Sri Advaita Acharya. In fact, the Shastras mention that Advaita Acharya is non-different from the Lord. And he was such a scholar. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go and learn from Advaita Acharya. That was the scholarly, amazing part of Advaita Acharya. Even you see, like, one more very nice thing I remember. Who is the father of Advaita Acharya I mentioned to you? Kuber Pandit, right? So according to this, there was one scripture. It's called Gaur Ganodesh Deepika. In that I was hearing, they were telling that Advaita Acharya's father was Kuber Pandit. He is incarnation of Kubera himself. Kuber, who is in the heavenly planets. Kuber and Lord Shiva are very good friends. How we know this? Very simple to know. Who were Kubera's children? Manigriva and Alkubera. Where were they sporting? Ganga. That is where is it? Kailash. So that way they were very good friends of Lord Shiva. Basically Kuber and then Lord Shiva. So then when he came in this world, he thought, let me come with my friend only. So who was his friend? Kuber Pandit, and that's how we know the connection that Lord Shiva and Kuber are very close to each other, and that's why Kubera they are best associates. That's why Kubera was actually appeared as a father of Advaita, and then later Advaita appeared. So actually, this Gaur Leela is amazing. It the when Lord appears in many incarnations, there are a lot of incomplete pastimes at times which appear. But Gaur Leela is like the culmination of all those. Like say many of you might have before coming to Krishna consciousness, you might have seen some dramas or some movies where at times say scene 1 is shown, scene 2 say someone is a lawyer, someone is a doctor, scene 3, scene 4, you have to make out the connection between the scenes. But when the last scene comes, he says, yeah, this is the climax. Then you are able to make sense of why scene 1, 2, 3, 4 are shown. Similarly, Gaur Leela is like that. I'll give you an example to illustrate this. When we all know who is Vishnu Priya, she was consort of the Lord, who is Mahaprabhu's wife. It's pretty interesting, or like not interesting. Like if you see from from one point of view, when she was 16 years old, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. When Vishnu Priya Devi was 16 years old. Now, for a 16-year-old woman, when her husband takes sannyas, it's not something very happy news, isn't it? But then she lived. The Chaitanya Charita mentions she lived till almost she lived till almost 75 years. Apart from so she lived around 90 years basically until age of 90. 75 years, almost 74 years, she lived in separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then it's quite heartbreaking for devotees to see that why did she live in separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why was the Lord so like that? How do you connect dots? It's pretty interesting. In the case of Ram Leela, if you see, Lord Ram, after Mother Sita, that like when Mother Sita, fast forward in the Ramayana, when Mother Sita was actually won by Lord Ram after the battle, Ravan was destroyed, Mother Sita came back. After this, Mother Sita entered the earth towards the end of her pastime. This comes in that Suprabhat prayers also. What is it? Avana Avanita Naya Kamaniya Karam Rajani Karacharu Mukhamburuham. Avanita Naya. Avani is what? Earth. So Sita is what? She was basically daughter of Avani. Who is that? Mother Earth. So she entered back to Mother Earth. And Ramchandra ruled for 11,000 years. How many years? Treta Yoga. Yeah? So 11,000 years. Now, every yajna, see in Treta we know what is the process of self-realization? Yajna. In every yajna, Lord Ramchandra would do. Now, we all know from the Vedic tradition that for a husband, the yajna is incomplete without the wife, isn't it? So now, every time he would do a yajna, see, as Lord Ramchandra, he could have married other women also as a king, but Ramchandra had Eka Patni Vrat. So then he did not have any other, he did not, wife. So every yajna, every anushthan, what he would do, he would have he had a golden deity of Mother Sita near him for every of that yajna what he did. So yeah, so they did all the vratas together. So I was hearing that Lord Ramchandra, he appears. I mean, basically they are same Vishnu Tattva, isn't it? So they Mother Sita was thinking that in Treta Yuga, Lord Ramchandra for 11,000 years he stayed in from separation from me. So this time when Lord comes, I will stay in separation from the Lord. That is why in the Gaur Leela, this particular wife of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was Vishnu Priya Devi, she for 75 years stayed in separation from the Lord, and Lord had given her a deity of himself, and you could worship. So in every whatever worshipable activity she would perform, she would keep Mahaprabhu to her right. How Lord Ramchandra had kept Mother Sita to his left side. So then that is how the culmination, and she did a bhajan all on herself. So like this we can understand how Gaur Leela is so amazing. So now coming back to the pastime of Advaitha, I was telling you that Advaitha, he had two houses, one in Shantipur and one in Mayapur or Navdeep. And he was a very great learned scholar, and he was used to lecture on the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The elder brother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is that? Vishwarup, he would go and sit in discourses of other Acharya. Advaita Acharya used to speak like full of devotion, and Vishwarup used to get absorbed. He was so absorbed that he used to forget to go home for his meals. So then Sachi Devi used to send Nimai, who was baby Nimai, to call Vishwarup. When baby Nimai used to come to call or catch Vishwarup's Jyoti, Haribol, Prabhuji, to come for Prasad. So then at times Nimai would come along the Prasad, Sachi Mata would send him along the Prasad. At times she would call him to bring Vishwarup. So when Nimai would enter that assembly, spontaneously, each and every person in that assembly, especially Advaita Acharya, he would feel a lot of attraction for Nimai. He used not understand why. Because Yogamaya had covered them, but he used to feel special attraction. Advaita Acharya had a deity of Lord Krishna. What attraction Advaita Acharya used to feel for the deity of Lord Krishna, the same or if not more attraction he used to feel to Nimai. But he did not unfortunately know why. But anyway, so later on, when Vishwarupa started taking the philosophy very seriously, then the parents of Vishwarup, they thought he is studying the Shastras very seriously, and he's it seems that he is going in some other direction. Let us try to get him married. So when they attempted to do so, when he heard the news itself, he left home and he took sannyas and he became Shankararanya Swami. So he basically got sannyas. Later, he never came back home, unfortunately. Now, this incident was very deeply painful to Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra, out of separation from Vishrup, later on, Jagannath Mishra got a dream in which he saw Nimai also shaven-headed with saffron clothes. He said, "This is too much. One son gone now. One more. I can't take it." Then, out of that deep separation, he left his body. Mother Sachi, she could not, she somehow tolerated and she was there because Nimai was there. Now she got Nimai married, to his first wife. Who was that? Lakshmi Priya. So that way Nimai got married, going forward that way. So now Advaita Acharya, as I was mentioning in this particular pastime, now as this pastime was happening, as Jagannath Mishra also thought about this, I mean, he revealed his dream that Nimai is, I saw Nimai shaven-headed in saffron robes. Sachimata for a moment she just thought, she didn't speak it out. She just thought, see, my one son is gone. Who is that? Vishrup. He took sannyas. My only possession I have in my life now is my second son, who is Nimai. Now, interestingly, Nimai also started going to discourse of other Acharya. And he also started taking philosophy very seriously, and he also was studying the Shastras. When they said, if you study Shastras, then you will understand this world is an illusion. So stop studying the Shastras. They stopped Nimai's school and then going to school basically. Look, later on, when this particular pastime happened, so of Nimai taking philosophy seriously, she thought this people call him Advaita, but Advaita is what? Oneness. But he's not Advaita. He's not. He doesn't seem that way. He's Dvaita. Like she just whispered or she just thought in her mind like this. So then this episode happened and then this is gone. Now she had not described this to anyone, till date. But one person took note of this. Who is that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there as Chaitanya Guru in the heart of everyone, isn't it? So he did not like this particular thing. But then later on in the Mahaprakash Leela, we'll discuss this going forward. Yeah, so in the Mahaprakash Leela or Sat Prahar Leela, Sat Prahar is what? 21 hours. Sat Prahar. Sat is 7. Prahar is 7 into 3. 21 hours when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving mercy to each and every one of his devotees. Like many devotees came and asked whatever they want, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed them with their mercy. I mean, whatever they asked for. Tatasto. Someone asked, let my son become a devotee. Tadasto. Let me get this. Tadasto. So someone said, my lord, you are giving your mercy to everyone. One personality seems missing here. Who is that? Sachimata, Then the Lord said, no, I will not give mercy to Sachimata because she is an offender. She's offender. She is mother of the universe. She is your mother. When and whom did she offend? Then he told this entire pastime of how she, in her mind, had thought that that Advaita is Dvaita. So then this news was heard by Advaita Acharya that Sachimata is now going to come to beg forgiveness from you. Sachimata was so humble when she got to know this news that Nimai is not giving her mercy just because she had offended Advaita. Being the mother of the universe, Yashoda herself, she was ready to go and beg forgiveness from Advaita Acharya. Now when Advaita Acharya saw Yashoda or Mother Saji, he had so much of respect for her that he fainted unconscious because of respect for her. Now the only way she could counteract the offense, as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was that she has to take the dust of Advaita Acharya. And the moment Sachimata took the dust of Advaita Acharya, the offense was nullified, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Joy, now I will give my mercy to you because you have begged forgiveness and your offense is forgiven, which you had committed to whom? Advaita Acharya. In this world, the relationship between mother and child is quite dear, or child and mother. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows from his pastime that his mother, who is that? Sachimata, and between him, who is there? Advaita Acharya. My devotees come in between me and my mother also. If anyone offends my devotee, who is that? Advaita Acharya. Then I will not forgive. So that was. See, there's a danger of Vaishnava Prad. She mentally committed offense. How many offenses we commit, isn't it? And really, we think about this devotee like this. He did this, he did that. Unfortunate. So it is. Of course, in Kali Yuga, mental offenses are not counted, but that's not a license to commit offenses mentally. When that is said, so mental offenses eventually lead to verbal. Verbal eventually goes to the next stage. So unfortunately, we have to cut it at the root only. We have to respect for the Vaishnavas, isn't it? So this is a very deep lesson from this pastime that we should ensure that we never commit Vaishnava Aparadh. What is being mentioned. So now, going forward, in this particular pastime, I was just one more in this regard. I was just reading. Advaita Acharya, he was the leader of the Brahmin community. He was also the leader of the Vaishnava community. He was those days. The concept of being a Brahmin by birth was very high. Even now it is there, but now it's not so much because anyway, everyone is Shudra, Kala Shudra Sambhava. But in terms of that time, since the Varnashram was quite prevalent, so the concept of the Brahmanas by birth was very strong. So Advaita Acharya happened to be born as a Brahman as well, and amongst the Brahmanas, because of his scholarly nature and devotion, he was the leader of the Brahmanas. And amongst the Vaishnavas, anyway, he was a devotee. So he was leader in both of these sense. Every year, Sri Advaita Acharya would perform a Shraddha ceremony. This Shraddha ceremony was like the peak thing what the Brahmanas could do in terms of their gathering. All the Brahmanas, each and every Brahmana in the community would ensure that he is there for that particular festival. Why? Because the lead of our community, who is he? Advaita Acharya is doing this, and towards the end, the prasad will be given to all the Brahmanas, of course. And there is a Mahaprasad Thali which is offered to the deities. In the Shad ceremony, what is then? The Bhoga is offered to the deities, and once the deities partake the prasad, the Mahaprasad plate is actually given to the topmost of the Brahmanas
who are qualified in that particular assembly. Now, Advaitha, all Brahmanas have come. It was like a social gathering for them, as I mentioned to you. And not going there was something like, hey, like say someone does not go there. After the Shastra ceremony, they'll ask, hey, where were you? You didn't come. You are a Brahmana. You didn't come for Shastra ceremony. Like that, so it was a talk of the town. So every Brahmana was there in that particular Shastra ceremony. In front of all the Brahmanas, when everyone was sitting for prasadam, in that particular assembly was Haridas Thakur also sitting in one humble corner. Acharya, who is the leader of that entire community, he took that Mahaprasad Thali, he directly placed it in front of Haridas Thakur. It was a very big thing that time. When he did this, all the Brahmanas were shocked. Hey, Haridas Thakur, who is Haridas Thakur? Born in a Mlecha family. He was actually, Haridas Thakur was such a devotee. Unfortunately, wherever he went, he was criticized. Like he was in Benapal. He appeared in Benapal when he was there in one particular place. Ramchandra Khan, he sent prostitute, to defame him. Going forward, he was beaten up in 22 marketplaces. Wherever he went, people were envious of him. Unfortunately, So now, when he came here as well, when he was given the art, like the Mahaprasad Thali, Advaitha crushed the conception of caste by birth. Chatur Varnam Maya system, Janma Karma Vivagasa, correct? No. Guna Karma Vivagasa is very clearly told in Bhagavad Gita as well, right? So it's not by birth, it is by one's activities. He established this fact very strongly, in that was to the credit of Advaitha Acharya. And Haridas Thakur, he was not thinking, thank you very much. He Advaitha Acharya mentioned to Haridas Thakur that you are a Vaishnav. You are constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord. Haridas Thakur, you know how many rounds he was chanting? Just 192 rounds. Daily 190 rounds. Along with chanting his rounds, he used to do preaching also. Now, God only knows how, but he used to do that. Now, later, when he got this thali, he was thinking, actually, I'm not qualified for this. Haridas Thakur's only consciousness was what? Naham Vipro Narpati Napi Vaishyo Shudro, Naham Bani Nachagarapate Ramanasto Yaterva, Kintu Prodya Nikala Paramananda Purnam Zabder, Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Das Dasanu Dasa. I'm just a servant of the devotees. I'm not qualified for what kind of reception I'm receiving through Advaitha Acharya. But since Advaitha Acharya was senior, I told you, he was 52 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Haridas Thakur was 17 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that way, Advaitha Acharya is older than Haridas Thakur. Then he, out of respect, he accepted whatever was given to him in that regard. So that is how Advaitha Acharya crushed the concept of caste by birth. And Advaitha Acharya was calling. I was telling you in this particular pastime we were discussing. He offered a tulsi leaf dipped in chandan along with Ganges water. His volume of the prayer was so loud, not volume in terms of the mic system or the amplitude, but the call from the heart. This call broke apart from the material shell and went directly to Golok Vrindavan. That was how he called. He teaches us how to call the Lord. The greatest service what we could do to the Lord is actually accept difficulties for the well-being of the other living entities. This is what Advaitha Acharya did. He did tapasya for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years, or like at least decades, he did tapasya. Just so that we all could sit and get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is Advaitha Acharya's greatness. Now, once what happened, Advaitha Acharya, I was telling you, he when Madhavendra Puri came, Madhavendra Puri, we all know, he came to get Chandan, isn't it? For the Lord. On the way, Shantipur was there. When he was coming to get Chandan for the Lord, on the way, Shantipur was there. That is the place where Madhavendra Puri met Advaitha Acharya. See, where there is sincere seeker in this world, Krishna will send Guru. It is not that, Prabhupada was once asked, Prabhupada, such a wonderful process, this devotional service. Why did you come before? You came in 1966. You could have come before a little bit. We were a little more younger. We would have taken it. Prabhupada said, I was there doing my devotional service. Even if I would have come, were you ready to take it? So when a disciple or when a sincere seeker is ready to take the message of Krishna or ready to take the message of the Guru Parampara, then Krishna sends a bona fide representative in his life. Be it the Guru, be it the senior Vaishnavas, be it the philosophy. That is because Krishna is very eager to deliver us. So Madhavendra Puri was sent by the Lord for Advaitha Acharya. And seeing the spontaneous devotion of Madhavendra Puri, Advaita Acharya accepted him as a spiritual master. He was very much inspired by Madhavendra Puri. So whose disciple is Madhavendra Puri? Madhavendra Puri is spiritual master of whom? Advaita Acharya. So in this regard, and Madhavendra Puri's one more very exalted disciple was there. Who is he? Ishwara Puri. He, during his fag end of his life, served his spiritual master when the spiritual master was in need. And he earned the wonderful blessings of his spiritual master in this regard. Ishwara Puri was a very famous personality, but he used to travel from one place to another. But those days there's no like poster floated Ishwara Puri giving class. Like, people don't know who Ishwara Puri by photo or by this thing. So when he would go to another place, he would just humbly come and sit in another in the class as if he is just one more personality. But when he came to Advaita assembly, Advaita Acharya saw that something is very special about this personality. I don't know who is he, but something is very special. See, anyone who carries Krishna in his heart is pretty attractive. Not in terms of external color or dress, but because Krishna is there in the heart of the living entity, he's very attractive. So Ishwara Puri was very attractive. So he asked Mukunda, recite a sloka from Bhagavatam, which describes the glory of Krishna. When this sloka was recited, Ishwara Puri could not control his ecstatic symptoms, and he exhibited the ecstatic symptoms what are mentioned in Shastras. And Advaita Acharya was immediately able to detect it. He is a very exalted personality, and then he took his association as well going forward. Going forward, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, see, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur were two personalities who were fervently praying that this Nimai, who was in his childhood days a very great Sanskrit scholar or a person who was very well versed in Sanskrit grammar, if he becomes a devotee of the Lord, it will be very nice. He can preach. They did not know his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because they were covered by Yogamaya, but they were fervently praying, if only he becomes a devotee. See, devotees' prayers never go in vain. You can see that. Srila Prabhupada, he prayed, Boro Kripa Kole Krishna Adhamera Rati Ilagila Nileta Koroe Begati. He prayed for the fallen souls when he was traveling in Jalduta. This is one of the prayers also. He prayed that these people are, caught up in passion and ignorance. What can I do for them? I am just a messenger on behalf of my spiritual master. Please help them understand the message of the Guru Parampara. Srila Prabhupada prayed, and that is when we are here today, isn't it? Because the fervent prayers of Srila Prabhupada. So Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur would pray, and as a result, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, going forward, he took initiation from Ishwara Puri. Ishwara Puri, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation from Ishwara Puri, he became a completely transformed personality. He was no longer, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a teacher, but then even in his teaching classes, he would teach about Krishna only. Previously, he used to teach Sanskrit grammar, but now, apart from Krishna, nothing else was coming out from his mouth only. He said that, see, you just chant and be happy. You can change your teacher. He told his students, now I'm no longer interested in teaching grammar. Please teach, find another teacher. And then, like this, he basically mentioned, this was the glory of, Advaita Acharya's prayers. Going forward, this Advaita Acharya, he was seeing that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy could be given to many souls. When Raghunath Das Goswami was there, coming to Advaita Acharya's house, Advaita Acharya would secretly give remnants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Raghunath Das Goswami, so that he advances or like he also gets the mercy of the Lord. See, this is a devotee of the Lord. A devotee of the Lord is not happy that only I get the mercy and no one else. He sees, I have got the mercy of Krishna. I will also share whatever mercy or grace I have got with other devotees, isn't it? So Advaita Acharya showed that also. Once, Advaita Acharya and his wife, who is wife of Advaita Acharya? Sita Thakurani. What we sing in the morning? Daya karo Sita Pati Advaita Gosai. This Sita Pati is not Ramchandra. This Sita Pati is who? Advaita Gosai. The wife of Advaita Acharya is also Sita Thakurani. So they both wanted to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Prasad. But whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to come, he used to come with a full trolley, means a full other big, along with other sannyasis who were there, and his devotees who were around. So they were thinking that if everyone comes together, then we will not be exclusively able to serve the Lord, or he may take a little less, So we want to serve him more and more prasad, but somehow he always comes with everyone. So they were desiring like this, that they could serve the Lord in seclusion. Now, one day what happened, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming on the way, he was invited to the house of Advaita Acharya for prasad. He was coming from Gambhira to Advaitha's home. Somehow, only on that particular route where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming, there were no rains. Everywhere else in that entire town, there were heavy rains. So much rains that people could not step out of their home. So all other sannyasis who were supposed to travel along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to house of Advaita, they got stuck in rain. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily dancing came from Gambhira to Advaita Acharya's home. And Advaita was very happy. Oh, no one is there. Only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. Please come. He served him sumptuously. He served him first serving, second serving. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also took sumptuously. And towards the end of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and Advaita Acharya also visiting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't take much prasad generally. So if he doesn't take much prasad, Mahaprasad also will remain less only. So now if he comes exclusively, I can serve him more and more. So I'll get more Mahaprasad or more mercy of the Lord. So then when he did this and then he served the Lord more and the Lord also gave him the remnants. Towards the end, Acharya goes out of his house and he's praying to Indradeva. Thank you very much. You say you made my day. I was fervently praying that somehow only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and you helped him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this, saw him praying. He said, "Hey, you are praying to Indra?" I said, "Yeah." By the way, you know who you are? You are Mahavishnu, right? I mean, you are actually Vishnu. Vishnu praying to Indra. It's not because of your prayers that it didn't rain. It is because of your order that it didn't rain. Like this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would, praise Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya again would praise Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya was such a great personality that since he was senior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, see, we know the relationship. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru is who? Ishwara Puri. Ishwara Puri's guru is who? Madhavendra Puri. And Advaita was who? Disciple of Madhavendra Puri. That way he's like on the level of his guru. Na? So that way always Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would glorify Advaita Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come, bow down at Advaita Acharya's feet, at the feet of Advaita Acharya and take dust from his feet. And Advaita Acharya could not do anything. Because he has to stay now. He's older than him. As a custom, he has to do. But always heart of heart, he wanted to take the dust of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one day, what happened when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had fainted in ecstasy? So he went and he took the dust. This was his only opportunity. Generally, he doesn't get this, isn't it? So each and every whatever dust particle he could get, he smeared it over his entire body. He said, like, this time I'll not leave a chance. Later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was dancing in ecstasy, in between his dance, he stopped. Today I'm not feeling ecstasy. Something is wrong. Seems like someone has taken my dust. Who is that? He asked. Then the devotees were there because Advaita Acharya was their leader. Now they can't say our leader only has taken. And Advaita Acharya, they just kept mum. And Advaita Acharya, he went and said, he told, see, I generally don't get this opportunity, to take your dust. Once I got, I hope you don't mind. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come as a devotee of the Lord. He is Krishna himself, but he is coming as a devotee of the Lord to teach in this world. Every time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be called as Lord Krishna or Vishnu, or like say he would be called as Supreme Lord, he would pluck his ears and say, Vishnu, Vishnu, no. He would say no. In this case, when in front of everyone, Advaita Acharya told him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran towards the Ganges. Nityananda Prabhu and Hare Thakur followed him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran towards Ganges and jumped in the Ganges also. And these devotees were told to be here only. Nityananda Prabhu and Hare Thakur went in the Ganges. They pulled. One of them held the hairs of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one of them held the leg. Come, Mahaprabhu, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to come in. I don't want to live. This guy took my dust, He says, I have come here for what? Have I come here for this? Then they said, don't worry. They take him to Nandana Acharya's home. They tell him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells them, don't tell anyone that I'm here. Shh. It should remain a secret. Nityananda Prabhu and Hare Thakur asked him, well, now we'll go back. What should we tell the devotees? Tell the devotees that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is drowned in the Ganges. And then they said, really? Okay. Now Mahaprabhu is telling supreme absolute truth. Fine. We'll tell. So when Nityananda Prabhu and Hare Thakur went back to the devotee assembly, the devotees asked, where is Mahaprabhu? He said, Mahaprabhu has drowned in the Ganges. Our devotees could not tolerate this. Many of them just fainted there. Some of them were beating their head. Now, some of them were just, they could not tolerate the separation. Some of them, led by Advaita Acharya, they ran towards Ganges. Advaita Acharya thought, see, because of whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went? Because of me, primarily me. Other things happened, but primarily because of me that he went. So let me give up my life. He went close to Ganges. Then Mother Ganga, she also is a personality. She says, hey, Haribol, actually, you know what? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there still. Don't worry. Let's go back. Then Advaita Acharya also informs other associates. But coming back to this point, that Nityananda Prabhu and Hare Thakur, When they come back to Nanda Acharya's home, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, "Hey, how is how are other devotees and how is Advaita Acharya?" See, Lord also is eager, na? He is a person. He is eager to know how are the devotees. So then, Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they tell that all devotees are they just can't tolerate a separation. Some of them have fallen into ecstasy. Some of them are just crying. They don't know what to do. And how is Advaita? He is very morose. So really, my devotee is morose. Then Chaitanya walks all the way back to Advaitacharya's home, and then basically Shiva Sangam, and then there they see Mahaprabhu. And devotees are not able to control the ecstasy because their worshipable Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back. Then they start doing kirtan together, and that's also when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in the Shiva Sangam as well. And one more thing I recollect in that pastime of Sachimata not receiving the mercy of the Lord. Later on, when Sachimata, she takes the dust of Advaitacharya and then she gets forgiven of the offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares this: anyone who chants Hare Krishna and does not criticize the devotees, I will personally deliver him. This was a promise given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when this particular incident happened of criticism of the devotees, so see how critical it is that we should ensure that we never offend the devotees, isn't it? See, because it is by devotees' grace we come to Krishna consciousness. And if we offend the devotees, then Krishna will take us out. He says, "Hey, my devotees only offend. Get out." So then that's why we ensure that we never offend the devotees. So that is one more lesson. And towards the end, one last pastime. I think we are already short of time. Many things can be spoken, but in once Advaitacharya, he thought generally the devotees would do Nam Sankirtan and on the streets, but every time they would sing the Hare Krishna mantra. One day, Advaitacharya, he said, "Let us chant Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's names." Devotee said, "Are you sure? You know what happens when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears his glories, isn't it? Or his name being chanted by everyone in general. He's not so comfortable." Advaitacharya said, "Who's your leader?" I mean, he didn't tell you this, but I'm just trying to paraphrase it. I'm telling, please follow. I said, okay. Then the devotees, they chant Gauranga, Nimai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vishwambar. They do Kirtan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's name exclusively. Now, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears this, he says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" I mean, like, when the Kirtan is very loud, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes out of his house and he sees that they're chanting whose name? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name. He sees who is the one who is lead over there. And Advaita Acharya is dancing in ecstasy. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, he starts singing even more loudly. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says he goes back to his house and he sleeps. I mean, basically he lies. He does the natak of being asleep. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then Advaita Acharya, he goes and then he says, "Come outside. We are doing kirtan." I said, I'm not going to come. You are actually chanting my name, sir. You don't want to come. So, because Lord is coming as a devotee. See, a genuine devotee doesn't, relish in hearing His glories. He relishes in hearing the glories of the Lord. You can see Srila Prabhupada throughout his life, he glorified Krishna, 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 Krishna. Whoever he met, he gave Krishna to him. And sure enough, there's a competition between the Lord and the devotee. Because Prabhupada throughout his life glorified Krishna. Wherever now Krishna wants to, there's competition. Krishna also wants to glorify his devotees. So now even in each and every temple of ISKCON or many prominent temple, you'll see that in terms of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, you'll see that Prabhupada's deity is there, isn't it? Thanks to that is the grace of Krishna. Krishna wanted to glorify Sri Prabhupada. Even before you also obeisances to Krishna, whom do you have obeisance to? Prabhupada, first Guru, then Krishna. So then that's how Krishna also reciprocates. So coming back to the point, a genuine devotee does not like to hear his own glorification. In fact, many of the spiritual masters, when they hear the glorification of Vyas Puja, it is not that they are waiting for it. It is a austerity for them to hear their glories. And they hear it and they offer it to Guru Parampara on behalf of the disciples. That is how a genuine devotee is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as a devotee, he wanted to show the world this part. So later on, Advaita Acharya tells Srivas Thakur, "You are hiding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in your house. The room also is closed. It is like hiding the sun. Can you hide the sun?" So can you hide Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So like this, going forward, they tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Please come." And Lord, we all know the greatness of Lord Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is happy to be defeated by his devotees. And towards the end, Lord says, "Okay, fine, I'll also come." Then the Lord comes and in front of him they chant his names only. And later they chant Hare Krishna like this. And Advaita Acharya, he was I was telling you that he was 52 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So always Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would respect him. He thought, "See, I'm a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No? Never he has chastised me. Never he has corrected me. Never. I don't think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accept me as his own. So he and Haridas Thakur, they made a plan how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could accept Advaita Acharya as his servant. formally, or if not formally, at least he tells that you are my servant. So then they said that let us preach Mayavad or impersonalism. So Advaita, who is actually Vishnu in the mood of Sudashiv, he starts preaching the philosophy of Mayavad or Brahman. They said Brahma, Satya, Jagan, Mithya, everything is one. Now, because of this kind of cheap philosophy, he also gets followers pretty fast. As he starts propagating this philosophy, many people come. In his house, he would have discourses where hundreds of people would come and people would sit and hear the Mayavad philosophy from Advaita Acharya. Now this news reached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, really? He said, okay, let us go and check it out. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, both of them, they swam across the Ganges. He didn't want to take a chance. He said, like, now I want to go and see what this guy is doing. They swam across the Ganges, and when they got on the shore, they saw a big crowd, and the leader of the crowd, or who was giving the discourse, was Advaita Acharya. And Advaita also saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming. He, in even more amplified voice or tune, he said, you are God. I am God. Everyone is God. The Lord's pastimes are completely illusion. It's just the culmination of everything is impersonalism. Or you're God. You just become God. Like this, basically bogus philosophy. But he started preaching this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sees this. He looks towards Nityananda Prabhu. He said, did you hear what he said? He said, yeah, my lord, I heard it. Nityananda Prabhu says, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu climbs to the stage. He throws Advaita off his Vyasasan and he starts beating him left, right. No, he says, Advaita, I was lying in the causal ocean. Who called me? You called, na? I came for you, na? Now what are you doing? I have come for what? Paritranaya sadhu nam, vinashaya duskritam, dharma samsthapanarthaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. I have come to establish dharma. And what you are doing? Exactly opposite of why I have come. Does this suit your personality? He starts beating him, and then like this, now when he's beating him, his wife, who is he? Whose wife? Advaita's wife. What is her name? Sita Thakurani. She's telling, please, he's an old man. Please don't beat him. And Harya Thakur is sitting behind and laughing. He knows the whole thing, what's actually happening. So now later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees Harya Thakur laughing, he understands this whole thing is a play. So that Advaita Acharya is beaten up by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts him as his servant. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him one nice analogy. He tells that the minister is appointed on behalf of the king to go and collect taxes from the citizens, isn't it? Now, in case the minister does some golmal with the tax, then what will the king do? He will beat the minister, because the minister is whose servant? King's servant. That is exactly what I did to you. You have come to assist me in my pastimes, but you are doing exactly something opposite of what I'm wanting to do. That is why I'm just teaching you a lesson, so don't mind. So then Advaita Acharya, he was very, very happy. He said, today you have accepted me as your servant. Mera jeevan dhanya ho gaya. I'm very happy that finally you accepted me as the servant. And that way, these stunts are performed by expert professionals. Please don't imitate. These are not meant for, so you should not go and go and preach this Mayavad. But the point is that we could relish these pastimes of what is the mood of Advaita Acharya. They just want to be the servant of the Lord. They don't relish in being the master. In general, in this world, people have bhogavriti, like Ravan. He wanted Sita separate from Ram, isn't it? But devotee of the Lord, he has Sevavriti, like Hanuman. He wanted to unite Sita and Ram. This is a devotee's consciousness, Majjanmana palamidam matukaita bare, mat prapaniya mananugdaha esha eva, tvad britya britya paricharaka britya britya, brityasya britya mitimam smaralokanatha. Control of britya in this shloka. How many times? So many times he says, Britya, what is this? Mukundamana Stotram, where he says that my only aspiration is to be the servant, the servant, the servant. How many other times you add servant, to your designation, and you understand that yes, I'm actually a servant, and that is the right consciousness, and that is the greatest joy of a devotee of the Lord. Our dear Sri Prabhupada, when he was young, he practiced a drama for 1 year. 1 year they prepared for a particular drama. And you know what role Sri Prabhupada got in that drama? Advaita Acharya. He played the role of Advaita Acharya, of calling on behalf of the fallen souls, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that the Lord comes and delivers them. This, what do you call it? It's the exact fitting for him. I mean, in terms of the role, what he played. Later on, of course, in the drama, he played it very well. And later on also, he continued that mood of Advaita Acharya. where he prayed for the suffering of other living entities, isn't it? And by the prayers of Srila Prabhupada, today we are all sitting here, in a temple hall, chanting holy names, getting prasad. Don't think that it is because of our, punya or good activities. It is by the austerities of Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada disciples that we are getting an opportunity to be in bhakti, isn't it? Someone is praying for us. That is why our Gadi is able to move on. Our spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, Acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they all prayed for us. That is why, like many times, it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's desire that near every college, how they have a hostel, for the boys to stay. Like that, we should have our center, where the boys stay, they study, and then they do the morning program, and then they do evening program, and then daytime they do studies nicely. This was desire of whom? Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, and it was given shape by the disciples of Sri Prabhupada. So because these great acharyas they desire, that is why we are able to get the mercy, isn't it? Or any place that is greatness. So with this, we actually can understand the greatness of Advaitha Acharya. And what should be our prayers to Advaitha Acharya? Today is the special day of appearance of Advaitha Acharya, isn't it? I will just read out. I'll just take a couple of minutes. If any of you want to continue, you can continue. Today is fasting, so I'm just a little bit extending. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, very beautiful prayers are given. I was trying to search some prayers which are recited by Advaita Acharya in glorification of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I found this. It is very nice. 10 prayers are there. I'll just quickly read out. This is in Bengali. You'll be able to relish it if you attentively hear it. Are you ready? এই শ্লোকে পদি আগে নমস্কার করি শেষ স্তুতি করে নানা শাস্ত্র অনুসারী says, first of all I offer my obeisances to whom? uh, to you my lord, who are glorified by in various prayers in many shastras. He says, jaya jaya sarva prana natha vishwambar jaya jaya gaura chandra karuna sagar. Says, all glories to Vishwambar. Who is he? Who is the life and soul of all living entities. He is all glories to Gausundar, who is what? Karuna Sagar. What is that? Ocean of mercy. Next he says, जय जय भक्त वचन सत्य करी जय 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 महाप्रभु महावतारी. Says, who is Mahaprabhu? He is Mahavatari, fountainhead of all incarnations. Next he says, जय जय सिंधु सुत रूप मनोरमा जय जय श्रीवत्स कौस्तुभ विभूषण. What is this? What is Kaustubha? Have you heard somewhere? Kaustubh gem? What is it? On where does it take shelter? Chest of whom? Lord Vishnu, isn't it? And he tells that how goddess Lakshmi, who is the daughter of the ocean, she is also enchanted by your beauty, my lord. Who has Shiva such mark on his chest. Jaya Jaya Hare. Sometimes some people ask, Hare Rama is given in the Shastras first. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Where is Hare Krishna given? You can quote this. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, 8th chapter. 4th chapter, sorry. Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna Mantrera Prakash Jaya Jaya Nija Bhakti Grahana Vilas. All glories to you. Who is he? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who introduces chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and he propagates it in mass. All glories to you, who enjoys your own passing of devotion service. Like this he says. And he says, जय जय महाप्रभुर अनंत शयन जय जय सर्व जीवेर सारण. What is that? Mahaprabhu lies where? On the bed of Anantashesh. He says, all glories to you who give shelter to all living entities. Now you see, nectar starts dropping. He starts describing many incarnations in relation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. तुम्ही विष्णु तुम्ही कृष्ण तुम्ही नारायण तुम्ही मत्स्य तुम्ही कूर्म तुम्ही सनातन तुम्ही सेवा राह प्रभु तुम्ही सेवा मन तुम्ही कर युगे युगे वेदेर पालना. You are who? Vishnu, you're Krishna, you're Narayan, you're Matsya, you're Kurma, you're eternal, you're Varaha, you're Vamana. You predict the Vedas millennium after millennium. So this is what, who is he? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. तुम्ही रक्ष कुले हंत जानकी जीवन तुम्ही गुहा वरदात अहल्या मोचन. Janaki Jivan. Actually, he is the life of Mother Sita. This is which avatar? Ram. And then you actually bestowed boons on Guha. And you also delivered Ahalya. तुम्ही से now Narsimdev. तुम्ही से प्रहलाद लागी कैले अवतार हिरण्य वधिय नरसिम्हा नामयार. Who's that? You incarnated as Narsimdev. You delivered Prahlad Maharaj and you killed Hiranyakashipu. Now he says, सर्वदेव चूड़ामणि तुम्ही द्विजराज तुम्ही से भोजन करी नीलाचले मांग. Who is he? Jagannath. One who writes in Nilachal. You are actually the crest jewel of all the devatas and you are the best of the brahmanas. You accept various foodstuffs in Nilachal as Jagannath, say Gaur, say Krishna, say Jagannath, next, तुम्हारे से चारी वेद बुले अन sorry, तुम्हारे से चारी वेद बुले अनविशिया, तुम्ही एति आसे राही अच्छा लाखिया. It says the four Vedas wander from place to place in search of you, but you have hidden yourself by coming here to my house. Advaitha is telling what the four Vedas. After reading the four Vedas, what should your conclusion be? Vedas are rare. Ahameva Vedya, like Krishna is supreme. But many people read a lot of Vedas, like Srila Prabhupada. There was one, I think you might have heard this. Some Vedic scholars. Sometimes some people keep name as Dvivedi, Chaturvedi, but they don't read one Veda also. But there are some people who actually read all the Vedas. They came to Prabhupada. They said, Prabhupada, Swamiji, we have read all the Vedas. Prabhupada said, can you explain who is God? Or can you give definition of God? So this will take a lot of time. At least 1 hour. Then Prabhupada called a Gurukul student. Come here. Who is God? Then the Gurukul student told, Prabhupada, Krishna is Supreme Personality Godhead. Then he gave him cookie and he sent him. See, this child actually, he understands who is God. And you have read all the Vedas. You don't understand who is God. What are you if you're studying the Vedas, isn't it? That is the point. Next, last last 3, 4. He says, Lukaite bada Prabhu tumi Mahavira Bhakta Jane Tomadhari Karaya Bahir. He says, you are expert in concealing yourself, but your devotees recognize and expose you. That is the greatness. He is very expert in hiding himself as the ego avatar. If you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also not mentioned in the Dasha avatar exclusively. Why? Because he is Channa avatar. He's hidden incarnation of the Lord. Sankirtane Arambe Tomara avatar Ananta Brahmande Tume Bai Nahiyar. Very simple. Some Bengali. He says, you inaugurated what? The Sankirtan movement. And there is nothing in the unlimited universe other than you. And towards the last sloka, he says in this flow, he says, Ei tora Dui khana charana kamala ihara se rase gauri shankara vihala. He says, Gauri and Shankara are wounded by the nectar. So, from your order seat. Who is that? Parvati and Shiva. He himself is Shiva. He's actually telling that, they take from you. So like this, we can see, Lord Advaitha Acharya, he composed these wonderful prayers. He was a very great scholar. When he composed all these prayers, all the Vaishnavas said, they said, Jai, Jai. You'll see this in common in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that whenever any devotee does something very nice, all the devotees are glad or happy about it. They're not thinking, why not me? There's no envy. This is spiritual world. Spiritual world means no envy. That is amazing characteristics. Even you'll see those advanced Vaishnava communities or advanced Vaishnavas, when they see someone is actually progressing better than them, then they feel very happy. Oh, I got an opportunity to associate with this person who is more elevated than me. See, it's a very simple understanding. With this, one last thing will end. See, imagine you are in an army and you are fighting. You have been given a machine gun to shoot bullets, and say your other soldier who is in your same on your army side only, on your side only basically, he is also given another gun, but he is shooting more. Number of bullets, and he is killing more enemies. Now, will you think, hey, why he is killing more? Will you turn the gun towards him and shoot him? I know you will not do that, because he is shooting. Your fight is with whom? With your enemy party. Na? So similarly, our fight is with whom? Not other people. It's with Maya Devi. So if someone else is able to shoot, or cut the pangs or clutch of Kali better than us, this is very nice. You can supply him bullets also. You can give prasad to him. Like this. This is actually the spiritual world where there is no envy. That is why Vaikunta means what? Vaikunta, where there is no Kunta. In this world, there is a lot of kunta because of anxieties or because of the anarthas. But in the spiritual world, there is actually no anarthas. This is actually one prominent thing in Chaitanya Charitamrita we see. And towards the end, I just want to tell one more thing. Many times people think that Lord Shiva, like this shloka, right? Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varaname. You heard this? Well, like say one name of Lord Ram is equal to 1,000 name of Lord Vishnu. And when Lord Shiva was asked, whose name do you chant? He said, I chant Lord Ram's name. This was actually in Treta Yuga. But going forward, he in many other yugas and many other pastimes where Krishna and Radha are performing their leelas, he actually glorifies Radha Krishna. You know that? Once, Ravan, who was expert in glorifying Lord Shiva for what boons he wanted to get, he composed a stotram on Lord Shiva and he glorified Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva didn't think, come on, Anivar, go ahead, give me more. He didn't think that. I told you, what is consciousness of a devotee? To hear glories of the Lord than himself. So then, when Lord Shiva was glorified in this manner, in that same meter, he composed a prayer to Srimati Radharani, and that is the Radhika Kripa Kataksha Sotram. What he composed, one devotee was asking question, Prabhuji, Lord Shiva chants Ram's name only, Krishna's name Radharani, Said, no, Lord Shiva actually glorified Radharani. If you see in that Kripa Kataksha Stotram of Radharani, so many names of Radharani, Lord Shiva only has composed. What are they? Mukeshwari, Kriyeshwari, Swadeshwari, Sureshwari, Triveda Bharateshwari, Pramana Shasaneshwari, Rameshwari, Shameshwari, Pramoda Kalaneshwari, Brajeshwari, Bradhadipe Sri Radhike Namostute. This is one of the, I'm not so good in deciding that, but this is one of the shlokas in that Radhika Kripakataksha Sotram. This is composed by Lord Shiva himself. And who is that? Advaitha Acharya. Actually, he is expert in glorifying the Lord. So if we have to get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is via Advaitha Acharya only. There comes a sloka in the Shastras where it mentions that if someone worships Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exclusive of Advaita Acharya, he will not get his mercy. And if you have to approach Radha Krishna, you need Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. That way you need Advaita Acharya's mercy. And that is why today is his appearance day. On this day, we can pray to Advaita Acharya fervently. Now let us all close our eyes. We can actually pray. What we should pray to Advaita Acharya? A very nice prayer. We can actually tell, my Lord, Advaita Acharya, please make me a servant. You can please repeat with me. Dear Advaita Acharya Prabhu, please make me a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna ultimately. So this is a very wonderful prayer on this appearance day of Advaita Acharya. We can pray to him, and by his grace, we can get the grace of Gaur Sundar or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So thank you very much. I think it's already have exceeded time. So Shri Prabhupada ki, Jai. Shri Advaita Acharya ki, Jai. Gaur Bhakta ki, Jai.
So, Hare Krishna, let us thank His Grace Vipinavihari Vrajesa Prabhu for giving us a wonderful lecture pastime of Advaita Acharya and different many lessons and how to pray and what should be our mood today on the day of appearance day of Advaita Acharya. So, let us thank Prabhuji by one time loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna.
So